Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Nobody's going on.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today, episode 136, a special edition because today we are preparing. We are 1 month out from Songtember 2022. So in this video, I'm going to tell you all about what Songtember is about and see if you want to get involved. Welcome to everyone who is here today. We are brought to you today by no one. This show is not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored, except by me. The ways that you can support me in the channel are down in the description. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a Patreon, we've got a Discord server now. There are a bunch of different ways that you can interact, and I thank all of you for all your support. Let's say g'day to the folks who are here live. G'day Friggsy. Friggsy's having some late nights lately. Thanks for dropping by. G'day Joe and Barry Glenn. Hello Thomas Christ. G'day to Mark Bro, who I saw in here. Hello to Elmaj, or is it Amaj? You say it's spelled I. See, I don't know whether that's an L or an I now. Imaj, maybe. Hello, Princess. I hope you are doing well. And anyone I've missed, Tremor Bear listening while driving home. Hopefully you're being safe while you're driving and listening. It's Christmas in October, right? And it's Songtember in July. Yeah, we're gonna start talking about it because I thought to get me inspired, for the month before Songtember, I sort of go back into the archives and see what we've done in previous years, and I thought it might be a bit of fun just to go back in time and take a look at some of the things that we've done in Songtember in the past. And when I say we, I mean me specifically, but I know many of you have also participated in the past and have created songs. So let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Hello, Kionra. G'day, Danny Gable. The very beginning. Songtember started in 2019. Well, actually, it started in 2018. In 2018, I wrote a song, and I did it in a month, and I did it live here on the channel. So it was called For the Birds. I did a song in a month challenge. And myself and a lot of the folks around the channel and around the community had so much fun creating and recording and releasing a song all within 1 month that I thought, this has got to be something that we do more regularly. So we decided that we would do it once a year. And just because I like weird naming things and alliteration and stuff like that, we went with Songtember because September. So Songtember is something that we've done every year since 2019, 2020, 2021. And this year will be the 4th annual Songtember. So how do you participate? It is super simple. You just create, record, and release a song in the month of September. Simple as that. You write it, you record it, and then you get it out there. Now, releasing doesn't have to be, like I obviously recommend releasing through someone like DistroKid. That's a good way to get it out to Spotify and Apple Music and all the platforms. You can just put it up on, say, slaps.com, which is a free service, SoundCloud, YouTube. Releasing to me means letting go. And I was chatting with my wife yesterday actually about this and the fact that Songtember's coming up and I'm pretty excited about it. And I was talking about sort of why I do this. And I've realized that it's because we were talking about our kids and they're both in the choir and they both do music and singing and things like that. And we had a concert for my oldest daughter recently, and the quality varied. Let's be honest. There were some folks that were just starting out and some kids that were really crushing it. And I realized that I wanted to start doing this because I want to help people that were me 5 years ago, which is love music, love creating, way too nervous to actually get my music out there. What if people judge me? What if people think it's no good? I wanted to help people and lift them up and go, right, we need to work out a way to just do this, because that's what I did when I first started this channel, is that I had no intention of ever sharing or releasing my own music. I thought, I'll just do a few tutorials about how to use GarageBand and then we'll see what happens. And it only sort of dawned on me when I realized that actually the more I do this, the more I practice, the more confidence I get. And then I'm actually able to help other people. So people that are me from 5 years ago that are there going, I like doing this, but I just don't have the confidence. I definitely don't want to share it out in public. Well, that's what Songtember's all about. And that's why this year we'll be using the Discord server, still use the Facebook group and the Patreon group and here on YouTube a little bit. But the good thing about Songtember is you can be as private or as public as you like. We've had people in the past that have just followed along at home. They haven't participated in any of the public forums or even any of the groups. They've just sent me their song at the end of the month and said, Johns, I made a song. I'd like you to listen to it. And then maybe the next year, they'll actually want to be more public because their confidence grows. And it's like anything, like you are gonna suck. The first time you do something, it's not going to be great. Everyone starts at zero. And we've seen people over the last sort of 4 years, their songwriting and their recording and their releasing of music has grown and has evolved and has become amazingly good. Not all because of me, but because of you, because of the community. Having a community around you, having a shared experience actually helps everyone achieve the end goal, which is to share music. Because, there's an old saying that art is only art once it's shared. Yes, you can create music for your own reasons, for your own purposes, but the real way to share art is to actually share it with another person or multiple people, as the case may be. So that's a little bit about the why. And the how we'll get into in a minute, but we're gonna intersperse this with a little bit of music as well, because I'm going to take you back through some of these projects, because they've all been created in GarageBand. That's why I'm doing it here in GarageBand, in the GarageBand Weekly, because they are all GarageBand projects. The last 3 years, all of these have been created right here in GarageBand iOS, so we'll take you behind the scenes of that. G'day to Jade Star, hello to Sion, g'day Darren Anderson, thanks for dropping on by. I think I said g'day to Keonra before. Anyone I have missed and haven't said hello to, if you're here, give us a shout, say g'day, and let us know, are you in? Are you going to do the Songtember thing? If you're watching on the replay, let us know. Just drop a comment and say, I'm in. Songtember, let's do it. But you can indeed join the Discord. So that's the one thing that I would recommend. And why Discord and what is Discord? Because I'm an old man and it took me a while to work out what Discord was all about. I've been using Facebook groups for the longest time because it's a convenient place. It's sort of a one-stop shop where I could share links. I could share posts of audio and video and images. But the Facebook algorithm meant that people didn't see certain things. It's pick and choosy. There's lots of advertising in there to kind of murky the waters. So we'll still use the Create, Record, Release Facebook group a little bit for a bit of sharing throughout Songtember, but the Discord server just seems to be a much better option. So let's jump on over and I'll show you what this is all about. There is a link that Thomas has put there and it's also down in the description. But what you can do is you can come in here and join this. So you can see we've got, Jade Star's got a Discord, Thomas Christ's got a Discord. I've piggybacked on these folks that know more about this stuff than I do. But Discord, it's just got a bunch of topics up the side here. Here's some general discussion that's been going on with Princess there. Here's like a new folks. There you go. Princess has recently joined there. And this one here is where we'll be sharing Songtember stuff. So we'll be able to, I can throw in the links to all the videos as they're happening. There you go. Keonra's in. Happening in real time, I'm sure. It is a private server, so I won't often show this here because I know some people won't want a lot of their stuff, but shared there. But in these preliminary shows, I just wanted to show everyone there. So if you're watching this, either live or on the replay, and you're interested in being more involved in the community, all you need to do is use that link, join the Discord server, create yourself a free account, jump on over. And it's just a good place to ask questions. Like we have some Q&As in there. You can share your audio. You can share your video. You can. There's a voice chat there and a video chat. So we'll be engaging with a lot of that after the shows. Because the way it works, I'll show you in a moment the sort of the back end of what we do in Songtember. But the way it works is that I do a show almost every day, usually live, and we're actually creating it on the fly. So the first big sort of launch party has already been scheduled, and you've probably seen that here on the channel. And then basically every day we start doing something else. So day one will be like ideation. It'll be, what are we writing a song about? What's the style? What are some hook ideas? What are some lyric ideas? Then we'll write the song. Then we'll work out an arrangement and a chord progression. Then we'll start recording some scratch and some guide tracks. And then we'll start recording a demo. Then we'll start recording the actual tracks. Then we'll start mixing, mastering, and then we're finally doing album artwork and releasing. So we do everything. We do the whole kit and caboodle. By the way, I've always thought that Kit and Caboodle would be a great name for a band. Like Kitten, Caboodle? No, maybe not. Maybe not. Why am I so pink? Why are you so rude? I've been in the sun, all right? White balance. Yeah, I was playing with the white balance beforehand, so maybe that's why I'm pink. Would you like me to be blue? Oh, yeah, now we're getting blue. Blue by you. How about we go somewhere in between? There you go. And maybe I'm a little oversaturated. All the behind the scenes stuff that I know you all care about. Let's continue on. There's the Just for Laugh festival going on. That's cool. Danny Gable joined today. That's very cool. Yeah, join up, get amongst it, and in the Discord. Rena, hello to you. So I've got a question there. I've heard that the help pull-down menu on the GarageBand program is zero help when you're stuck. Cheers to Pete who helped me with all I've run into. Anyone here with the same story? Thank you, Rena. Yeah, look, it's the help you get on GarageBand is okay, but it's written by software engineers. It's not written by musicians or music creators. And look, Apple have got some good people over there. I've spoken to some of them. Some of them are super passionate about music, but a lot of the communications people are not necessarily the same people that are actually using it. Have you ever come across that, where the people writing the user guide are not actually users? That's the kind of challenges that we have. So I try to humanize some of the information, some of the guides that we have over there. You're welcome. Very, very cool. Yeah, blue phase. Go with the sexy blue. I know we'll change it up. I know it's because I do my happy hour show and then I do my green screen show, which is the Your Music Live. I have to kind of keep evolving and changing as to whether I have a background and which camera I'm using, etc. Again, a little bit inside baseball. G'day, Michael. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us here. We've got Josh Gates over on the Twitch. Yes, we are live on Twitch and Facebook as well. Don't think you can go live to Discord just yet through StreamYard. G'day, Barry Glenn as well. But yeah, if anyone else wants to follow me, all the ways you can do it on Twitch and all the other places are down in the description. Let's dive in and take a look, because last year we wrote this song, and I say we because it really was a collective effort, in that a lot of the lyric ideas, some of the ideas for the arrangement, they all came out of you folks. And if you want some proof of that, let me find. I should have prepared in what I should have prepared earlier. Let's see if I can find my original document for last year's song. Here is my planning document that we had. I'll just bring it up over here on this screen. So this was the behind the scenes stuff. So you can see here, over the first few episodes, we worked out the song structure, including the big F off final chorus, which you'll hear in a moment, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, that was my idea for how the song structure would work. We then developed all the sections that you'll see in a minute, the chord progression there. So it was all based around. It's something I should have prepared earlier. The whole idea of the song was based around a simple chord progression that was just... which, I don't know why I had to play that, because you can see it right there. So A minor, E, F, D minor, and then A minor, E, F, G in the other sections there. So we put all that together, then had parking lot of ideas. So look at this. It was Mark who had like a reggae feel, like a doom, doom, choo, which sort of helped us with the rhythm there, having some sort of breakdown, which is what you'll hear. This sort of the third verse becomes a bit of a breakdown that kicks into the final chorus that we had here. And look at this. We had Russ having some ideas and Dan Ekberg. So as we went through, you need to strive and you'll go far. That line there, TC, Thomas Christ, had to be put into that. So you can see here really is a group effort. And then when we got to the mixing phase, here's my listening notes. So this is the method that I use. So you can see here, once we got to like the 11th of September, we started mixing, and I had a whole bunch of different mixing notes there that we had there. And then this is just the final version of the lyrics that we added to the song. So you get to kind of see inside my brain, and we work together on this stuff, and we do it live here on the channel. So it's a lot of fun. And it tends to work well. And then, of course, you can share your music. We do some listening parties where we listen to other people's mixes. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff that goes on. So let's take a quick look behind the scenes of this project. So originally, as I mentioned, this was all about this chord progression here. And a note about the importance of when you're recording a demo or you're recording a scratch track here in GarageBand or anywhere, do your best on that first take. Because I recorded this, and these were my scratch guitars. Guess what? They stayed there. They sounded good enough that they stayed there in the final arrangement. So I thought that was pretty cool. We've had a bunch of vocals in here. So we've got the main lead vocal, which of course does this bit.
We're all just a work in progress.
And swimming in delay and reverb. So we went through and mixed that as we went and made that sound like it does now. And then
we're all just a work in progress.
A nice doubled vocal there for that one there. So yeah, it was a pretty simple sort of vocal sound. We had our bass guitar that we recorded, which is simple, but I think effective. when it comes in with all the other instruments. We had a little bit of electric piano work here, so a little bit of a pad with an electric piano doing this. Nice stereo phasing effect there. With a nice sort of mysterious kind of feel, and some more pads later on. We had a little organ that came in here with the electric piano to build up into the second verse that did this. Which I think like complemented the guitar. And this was ideas that came out of the community. People were like, what about some organ, Johns? And I'm like, yeah, cool, it works well. Now this version doesn't have the original scratch drums because this is the final mix version, but we originally had a drummer track in here, but we didn't need that for long because eventually it was replaced by these, which are Jade Starr's epic drums that we mixed in to what I think is perfection anyway. And I can say that because it's not my own work, including a cowbell. So let's just take a listen. This last section, this is where it all comes together with these cool drums. This is why having a community around you is a good thing, because you play to your strengths, people. I don't program drums well. Jade's done the drums on like 2 of the last 3, and then she even redid the drums for the first one for a single version of that one. So this is it. Listen to that beautiful stereo separation. The 2 different crash cymbals in there. We'll show you how to do that again this year, but there's videos here on the channel that can learn you how to do that when you're creating drums, separating them out onto separate tracks so that you can control volume, you can control panning, you can control effects is a really good way to do that. We had the piano. The pianos were kind of like a highlight for this one, and I used the Ravenscroft 275 piano, which is my favorite virtual piano. I think it sounds kind of cool. It does this. I think I should do an all piano version of this. I couldn't play that part. I couldn't play that piano part live. That's the only problem. But I really liked the counter melodies that we put together in this song. I was pretty proud of that because like it's got a very simple melody, like the "We're all just a work in progress." But when you add in the counter melodies that come here, like let's just bring this in with the lead vocals.
We're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just.
It worked really, really well. The final, the piece de resistance that we did with this one, that many of you will remember doing, and that was the group vocals that we did at the end. So we did some backing vocals, and it was called the Work in Progress Choir, and we brought it all together here, and y'all sang the final chorus with me, and it sounds epic, and it sounds like this.
We're all just a work in progress. We're all just a work in progress.
So that was the idea there was that everyone would sing along to that final chorus so that we would get this really big sound of a choir at the end. If you're wondering who the person singing in the gaps was, yeah, no prizes for guessing. That's Jade Starr adding some cool little ad-libs in there as well, which was a lot of fun. So let's take a listen to how that sounds.
We're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it. Nobody's got.
I love it. Love it when you hit pause on a DAW and you get that and it goes out. So that was a lot of fun, and that kind of came out of this. It all happens. The serendipity of doing this sort of stuff live is always very cool, because I got to the end there and I'm like, what do we do? We need a big final chorus, and I can't remember who it was. And if it was you, I'm sorry because I don't give you the credit. But someone said, why don't you get like a big gang vocal in there? And I'm like, gang vocal, eh? I know a gang. It's you guys. Who wants to record it? And then we shared out the project, and everyone recorded and sent in. It was a bit of a challenge bringing it all together because there was, I think, 21 separate tracks in the original choir, and I think, Mark, you were on holidays or something at the time, and I won't play Mark's independently, but you can see I brought his in here at the lower volume because I'm like, oh, I don't want Mark to miss out on being in the choir. So I had to merge down 20 tracks all into one stereo track, which is what got this very cool sound in the end. I just listen to this all the time. I love it.
We're all just a work in progress.
Progress. All right. Is that piano starting a regular setting or is that a download? And I love the choir. Yeah, the choir is very cool. So the piano, there are two pianos I used here. And look, I try to do these things where I don't use a whole lot of external plugins or expensive stuff. I try to use a lot of free stuff when we do the Songtember songs so that you can see that it's not about the gear. It's not about the plugins. It's about songwriting and recording and releasing. So these pianos here are the Ravenscroft 275, which is an external plugin. It's this one here. It's about a $30 piano in the US. It's about $50 here in Australia. So it's not super cheap, but it is super good. It's got a heap of different options and settings that you can play around with there, which is why I was able to get the nice tones that we got in here. But you'll also notice I also used the standard classical grand from GarageBand for this part, which also sounds pretty good. I reckon. Anyway, yeah, a little arpeggiated bit on the piano. So you don't have to use the expensive stuff, but you can do that. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, well, look, it was weird because, yeah, Mark is such a good community member and has been a supporter for so long. I was devastated when I didn't bring his in, and I was like, do I have a track? I've got one track left. That's it. Mark's coming in. Oh, they said it's 3. That's all right. I couldn't remember, Mark. I wasn't going to blame you for it because it all just happened. Yeah, layering vocal tracks is a lot of fun. Yeah, it will get stuck in your head. So I played that. I played that first so that you wouldn't get that stuck in your head. Because we're going to go back in time. In just a jiffy, we're going to go back in time. That was 2021. We are going to go back in time to 2020 in a minute, which was a bit more rock and roll. So we'll take a quick break here, and then we'll go and do that. I need a quick drink. So yeah, Songtember 2021. A lot of fun. It was work in progress. The one interesting thing, and I can't even remember who it was, but I got a message a couple of months after. It was a long time after Songtember, and someone that didn't like the song. They're like, "It's a terrible concept and it's really bad premise." I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, it's saying that everyone's a work in progress. You're saying that everyone has faults and flaws." I'm like, "Yep." I sure am. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, we are all just a work in progress. Like, hands up, who's perfect? No. So, yeah, we are all just a work in progress. How did you get everyone to do together in the choir? That's a good question. And while we're taking this sort of quick interlude here, why don't I jump back over to, if I can find where I had a tab open here. Anyone else find it really hard to, when you've got multiple tabs in Chrome on a Mac, to find where you've put stuff? I do anyway. So down in the description, there are some playlists, and you can jump into those playlists now because there's the 2019, 2020, and 2021 versions of the playlist. Let's just, I'll find them for you, and there may be, because all the episodes of each one are kind of labeled, so you should be able to find these. So I'm just going to filter to Songtember in my playlist, and let's jump you over here to this one. So you can see there that in 2019 there were 17 videos in the playlist. In 2020 there was 22, and then last year we had 21 videos. So if we go into this playlist and we check it out, there should be how to collab and share vocals. So yeah, check out that one because I reckon it was around this period. Yeah, it was almost definitely this one. All right, let's just see if we can find the section where we talk about it. Look at wearing a Christmas shirt for some reason. So you can see this was where the project was at that point in time. Oh, look, I've got timestamps. I'm helping myself out here, aren't I? So how to download, how to import audio files. So let's come over the top. So I'm here in GarageBand. I'm going to create a new song, and we just need a audio recorder track here. So we'll come back out here to our track view, and what we need to do is try to remember what I did up to import this file. Now to do this, we need to go to the settings here and make sure our tempo is at 84 because that's the tempo of this particular. And
skip
this
ahead.
is the backing track. This is the version that we just downloaded. If we tap on that one, it'll bring us into our downloads. So you can see there that we've got all of those. So every different file there. Basically, folks share. Oh, it's very weird seeing me and me. Now I'm too blue. I can't get my white palettes right. There we go. Yeah. So you can see there that all these files were the ones that folks shared. So you can see there that we had a Greg gang vocal, we had Jade's gang vocal. So yeah, everyone shared theirs, and basically we used I think Google Drive or Dropbox or something like that to bring all of that in there. So yeah, it wasn't super difficult process. Basically, I provided the backing track. People brought it in to their project as just a WAV file. They sung along to it. They exported just their WAV file and they sent it back to me, and we slapped it back in, and we were all done. It was cool. Let's continue. Yeah, if you're looking for something, yeah, all my contact details are down in the description. I make it super easy for you. All of my all the groups, all the ways you can follow me on the socials, and my email address and everything. Nothing is hidden. Doesn't mean that I'll be able to reply to everyone instantly all the time. Most people are super respectful. Some people are like, Pete, I need your help. Can you do this for me? And I'm like, I'm actually not taking on any work at the moment. I'm kind of flat out. And they're like, oh, I wasn't going to pay you anyway. I'm like, okay, thanks. Apparently, I'm a charity that provides free music instruction. Well, I guess I kind of am. But you know what I mean. Some people are super respectful and realize that. And, if you ask nicely and I've got capacity, I'm always going to help you out. If you come all demanding like and expect me to do stuff, then I'll probably not, just quietly. You've all been there. You know what I'm talking about. You know the people I'm referring to. All right, let's move on. Let's change gears and get a little bit rock and roll. Because of the three songs, this one is probably my favorite. I don't know what that audio file thing there. Obviously, I put some audio file. This is probably my favorite one of all because this is the track called New Beginning. And is this? I can't even find if this is the most up to date version. We'll go with this one for now. I think we had a more up to date version that we separated out Jade's drums, or maybe we didn't. Maybe we just left them there, or maybe these are the original drums. It does say original drums. No, that sounds pretty good. I think they were. Because. Anyway, long story with this one, because the drums kind of changed up towards the end of this track, which is, do we have that? Oh yeah, that's it. So this one, sorry, I'm going off on weird tangents here. This song was cool, and it was pretty complex because we actually have a tempo change, which I'll show you in a moment. The song kind of ends, and then it kicks back in at a much faster tempo. So I'll show you how that all works in a moment. But you can see here the premise of this song was all built around a guitar riff, and I actually used a cool technique that I haven't used since, and I should get back to using. Because GarageBand doesn't have song section, here you go. You thought you weren't getting any actual GarageBand tips today, you are. Because GarageBand doesn't have song sections, what I've got here is I've split up my guitar, and I've named each one of these the actual thing it is. So you've got the lead in there, and then you've got the intro. You've got the verse 1, you've got the little interlude there, and you've got verse 2. So you can just use a track, and this track isn't even in the final mix, but it was just my guitar track at the start here. If we play it, it'll kick in here. Oh no, it's got 0 volume, that's why it's not. Sorry, my mouse wasn't working there. So yeah, you can use your A track, and you can use a drama track, you can use a guitar track, whatever. I just happened to use these scratch guitars because this was the riff that this whole thing was built around. You can see here that these first few tracks are all of my scratch tracks, which this time around didn't make it to the final one, but all these vocals actually eventually got comped. So this was a good one. Go back to 2020. There's a couple of episodes there on vocal comping. And this is what vocal comping is it takes these 4 vocal tracks, and can you see how they're split out? Each of these passages comes from, see where the gap is? That's where the vocal comes from. So wherever that gap is, that's where that particular vocal is from. And it just means you can take different sections and kind of stitch them together so you can get your best vocal performance. So if we go here, you can see this first one was from this 4th take. And you can see that the next one, I've actually used the 3rd take.
Cultivation.
So it just gives you the option to change things around and comp your vocals together. So this song was a rock and roll song. The story behind this one, so just for those that are newer to the channel, in September 2020, the dramatic version is to say I lost my job. I was made redundant. I kind of wanted to be. So I'm not going to get all like dramatic about it. But I was working in a corporate job. I wanted to do this full time. An opportunity came up where they're like, Johns, we kind of don't need you anymore. And I'm like, work? That's kind of fine. So so I took a redundancy and started doing this full time. So September was the the first month that I was free. So I wrote this song and it was called New Beginning, and I based it around that there's a new beginning ready if you want it. All you got to do is open up your mind. So it's basically it was a song about me and embracing change, and also the fact that, you know what, we were about 8 months into a global pandemic. So I wanted something positive and uplifting in rock and roll. So you can see that we've got the drums here, we've got a bass guitar, we've got some. One of the things I like most about this track is these tracks down here. And if you're making a rock song, don't be afraid to use some virtual instruments and some pads and some organs and some keys, because I think this actually really helps. Even though I wanted this to be a rock song, I wanted it to be lots of guitars and lots of grunginess and lots of grittiness, I also wanted to add something else. So if you take a listen to these parts. So these go along, and I thought this was a bit like a bit of a Killers kind of vibe, so that when you bring the guitars back in to go with this, so you almost don't hear it, but if it's not there, it sounds naked, it sounds empty. So I really wanted to show that here, because when I was re-looking at this project just yesterday to get ready for this, I kind of noticed it. And the other thing is this arpeggio. I'm in love with this arpeggio. Right? Exactly. Be the keyboardist in the rock band who no one knows what they are doing, but they add the thickness. Exactly. So you've got all those keys in there. So if we listen to this, listen to just these guitars that we had originally, that were just doing like the rhythm guitar duties here, and I'll bring the lead guitar in here as well, because these are all doing their crunchiness. So that's cool, yeah. But the difference is, like, that's all very treble heavy, and to get a bit more of that mid-range and that bass that's not just your kick drum and your bass guitar, bringing in some additional instruments. Let's listen to that same section again, but with these virtual instruments. So it just fills out the sound. It gives you the interest in that last bit. Now, I said before, I alluded to it before, that this song was challenging, because what I wanted it to do is I wanted it to get to this point here. And by the way, drums by Jade Starr again. Did a fabulous job on the drums. But I wanted it to get to this point. And by the way, Jade didn't do the drums in this last section, because you can see here that things get a little bit weird. So what I wanted to do is have this last bit here, and then it transition into a really fast rockin' bit. So let's take a listen to what it was.
And your beginning starts now. Hesitation, going nowhere fast. You will never break the chains or feel the pain of all the change unless you take a chance to reach out for the next thing. New beginning, new beginning. right now, 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 now.
And then back into that final bit. Yeah, into mayhem is exactly right. Yeah, it takes a change. It takes a bit of a change there. So that was interesting because I had to basically go completely off the grid. So the way I did that was to to record this in a completely different project. And you can see we've got these drums, metronome drums fast part. And we're nowhere near the grid now, because if you take a listen to the metronome, because it just changed tempo, changed completely. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and it really stretched the limitations of GarageBand with this particular track. But the final result, as I said, is one of the songs that I'm most proud of, and it's definitely one of the most rockin' songs that I've made. So I'm kind of considering this year, do I go a bit rocky? Because last year was obviously a little bit more folksy, singer-songwritery. I'm wondering, whether we'll change it up again. Is there a way to do that on GarageBand? I've learned a lot of recordings using an organ to build a giant choir effect. Anyone done this? Yeah, so you can layer up. Again, you've got the opportunity to layer a lot of different sounds up and to overdub and to create some cool sounds. So yeah, if you're new to this stuff, Arena, check out all the videos we've got. In fact, down in the description here, there's my GarageBand Essentials playlist, and that's got like getting started with the keyboard instruments. That's got getting started with mixing. So yeah, there's a heap of videos down there that you can go and have a look at. 1.5 times tempo in that. Yeah, look, it goes completely off, and the good thing is it doesn't need to come back into time, because the last bit is just the guitar again. So I just basically recorded the guitar again and then brought that back over. So the metronome basically becomes redundant at that point where it goes to the fast part, and then we just bring it off. So it goes to show you don't always have to be on the grid, as long as we have that there. Alrighty, let's continue on. By the way, if you do have any questions, please do throw them in here. I forgot to say that because we're kind of going off on tangents here and talking all about previous songs. But yeah, if you do have a question, just put a Q or the word question in front of your question. Be happy to answer anything that you may have. Can I send screen recorder WAV file to Logic Pro X? If you mean, can you do a screen recorder and then get the audio from it? Yeah, you can. I do it on iOS. If you're on Mac, you'd be able to just throw it into either LumaFusion or iMovie or something like that, and then render it out as audio, export it as audio. LumaFusion does a great job with that, and LumaFusion is available on iOS and M1 Mac. If you don't have that, even just using GarageBand, I think Logic actually has video import ability. So if you do a screen recording, the really easy way I've found lately is using BandLab. BandLab are, again, full disclosure, they're a sponsor of the channel and of some of the shows here. But BandLab has video import, so you can import a video and it will just scrape the audio track. So I know plenty of folks who use that for both legitimate and mildly nefarious purposes, aka downloading YouTube beats and they're recording over them. But please, attribution, make sure you're using things correctly. Don't go taking people's stuff without their permission. Songtember 2020 was a heck of a lot of fun, and we'll talk all about Songtember 2019, the OG, in just a moment after a quick drink here. Let's see. Let's see if we have anything else. Yeah, BandLab's just got some really good options, some cool things to play around with. Not good at piano, trying to quantize. Yeah, exactly. If you're not good at piano, if you're not good at keys, quantization can be your friend. Don't fear the quantization. Also, keep in mind that sometimes GarageBand auto quantizes, and you don't want that, especially with drums. I've seen a lot of people get into trouble with drums because they'll play drums exactly how they want them, and then they'll play back the track and they'll be like, "This doesn't sound like I meant it to be at all." And I'll show you what I mean. If we jump into a drum track here in the GarageBand, you'll see that if you go into your settings here for drums, the track settings here, your quantization, it's on by default. Now that works for most of your tracks as long as they're like nicely on the grid. If you've got some, different swing and triplet rhythm, yeah, you can use swing and triplet quantization, but sometimes you just want none. Sometimes you want to turn that sucker off completely. Whereas sometimes with your piano, let's just see if Pete's cheated here. No, I don't have quantization on here, but I think that's because this piano part I actually recorded in using a MIDI keyboard. But yeah, the drums definitely have quantization on there. All right, so this track didn't, but I think because this track is a kind of piano-based song, I recorded all these using a MIDI keyboard, which is a lot easier to get on the grid. It's a lot harder when you're using, say, the virtual keyboard to get things lined up. So, yeah, quantization. I agree, Psycho 7. See, now I know that you're Psycho, not Sicko, and now I don't know if it's 7 or 7. I'm going to go Psycho 7. There you go. If I'm wrong, you may correct me. Yeah, totally. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. So yeah, do jump over and check out all of the links that we have in the description, and do join the Discord because again, I know I've been bad at keeping up to date with it, but I promise to be better. I promise that we'll do a lot more on the Discord server because it's a great way to just keep everything in one place. And yeah, I think it'll be a good time a good way to use and to collaborate this year. Let's talk 2019, shall we? So way back, the very first Songtember that we did. In fact, let's embarrass Pete. Let's get some old school embarrassing Johns here because we can go back again, and you can do the same thing. I encourage you. Don't worry, I have no shame these days. I have children, so I no longer have shame. Does anyone else feel the same way? Once you have kids, you kind of lose all inhibitions and all shame when it comes to most other things. But yeah, Songtember 2019, the Songtember Songwriting Challenge here. Let's jump in and take a look at some early, so capturing song ideas. This was like the first video after the launch. In this video, I will be showing you my progress so far in Songtember. That's right, I'm writing a song, I'm creating, recording, and releasing a whole... Oh boy, yeah, but look, it's a little bit cringy in parts. Obviously, the production value is not quite where I'd like it to be, but it was raw, and we were doing things, and the blue couch was there, the treadmill was there. There was a lot of stuff there. So yeah, you can follow through. You can have a look at when we recorded the demo. We did that one live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to Studio Live today, and welcome back to Songtember. In this video, there you go. This was before StreamYard, when we were using. I don't even. know. Was it StreamYard? I can't even remember now. Oh yeah, no, it was. Look, because we had the old school things there. It was very early StreamYard, but yeah, we had the split screen there with the multiple views with the camera, so it's starting to get a little bit fancier there. But yeah, you can see and look the old Steinberg UR12 interface, the old iPad Air 2 that we used back in the day, and yeah, many of the same folks that we've still got here on the channel were there in that. So let's jump. You have played drums on so many of my songs, and hopefully if there's any that you're not getting a kickback on, you need to be getting those 12 sensors every year, Jade. So I'm pretty sure I've set up the splits so that you're getting at least 20 or 30% on most of those songs, because you can do that. Again, DistroKid aren't sponsoring this video, but through our sponsor of the channel, DistroKid, you can do that. You can set up splits so that when you collaborate on a track, you can just get the royalties automatically split. All right, let's jump over to the project. So this one was a simpler project. There was no complex time changes. There was no massive choirs. I think it's only about 20-ish tracks in length. But it all started again with an acoustic guitar, as many of my tracks do, and it sounded like this. So that was my basic guitar. We then had a second acoustic, which was doing this. Just sitting under there with some chugs, and it got a little bit more complex as we went through. Or did it? So it was kind of doing almost like a higher level bass. Because it was a bit too twangy with just that first guitar, so I remember adding that second acoustic for that one. We then had our electric guitars, so we had our lead here, doing some similar chugs to our acoustic, and then we had our other guitar. And I was listening to this last night, and I'm like, I reckon I got the inspiration for this from You know that Ballad of the Skeleton song, the Allen Ginsberg? It sounds just like that. It's a faster version, but if you listen to the start of this... I think it's mainly, in the verse. Let's just come up to here.
Have much time, you're in a rush and you don't know why. You want it all.
Okay, now I can't hear it, but yeah. I was like, and there's something Skeleton said, da, da, da. Yeah, you know the one. So, again, it was a pretty straightforward kind of rock song, but I wanted to make it a bit different, and that's where these piano parts came in. And this was probably the funnest part. If you go back to the 2019 videos, creating these virtual tracks, because I was not super new to virtual tracks, but at that point I thought, no. You're a rock and roll, Johns. You're a singer-songwriter. You need guitars, you need bass, you need vocals. None of this keyboard stuff, but it's the keys that make it. And I'm actually, again, I really like the keys that we put in here. So we had the original grand piano. This is just using the GarageBand piano. Didn't use Ravenscroft back then. And I like the duh, duh, duh. It worked like, I played it on a MIDI keyboard just so that I could get that real... So yeah, it had some nice dynamics in there. And then we did some chords. We had the electric piano in here that was doing kind of similar duties here, just to thicken things up. And that was just doing sort of single notes here through this section. Just sustaining a note, just to give it a little bit of thickness there. Now, these original drums, the drums I did this year were my own drums. They were okay, but Jay then replaced them a couple of years later when I released this as part of my my EP. So at the start, it's just the ticks there, and look, it's the... Look, I did the best I could, and it was fine. For the time, I was quite happy with the drums, and I did sort of have them on separate tracks there. Then, of course, there was all the vocals. We've got again, we used a lead vocal comp, just like we did on the other track there, and here's all the lead vocals. So I guess I have been using comped vocals for quite a long time, and a harmony vocal track, and that was about it. So it was a pretty simple song. I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew on the very first time around, so I did keep it pretty simple, but the end result worked pretty well. So let's listen to that, the iconic chorus of this track.
Hold on, it's gonna be a long time. Hold on, 'cause it's gonna be a long, long time.
The hey, I loved that hey. The hey there was like an example of me just doing something randomly. Like in the original scratch version, I just went hey, and it stuck. It worked well. Like it kind of that attention-seeking thing. And if you listen to New Beginning, the 2020 song, there's a bit in that I'll play you in a moment, which is where I just sort of start saying random things, and I just go, "Watch out, it's coming for you, ready or not." Full bore. And again, it was just me piss farting about, but it made it to the final version. So sometimes it's amazing how, you just try something and it works. It stays with you. So that was 2019. And once again, if you want to check out all of these, down in the description, we got all of the playlists for all the last look. You could, I don't know how long that is, but each video is around about 30 to 60 minutes in length. So you could spend all of August just going back in time. If you're newer to the channel, I'd recommend 2021 because we're a little bit more polished there, and we went through. So the lyric writing one was a lot of fun. Whoop, I pressed the wrong button, did I? Writing song lyrics. So this was day 2 of Songtember 2021. ML. But thank you again for the kind donations. Once again, without folks like you that donate to the channel, we look like this. Doing the joke. But yeah, you can see there that we had a kind donation. Look at that. Could you show my stuff on video? Well, yeah, I think we did eventually. Beggars can't be pickers. Well, I think we played some of your tracks on Your Music Live. But that's the sort of thing we do. So you can see there, we've got the notes there. We've got the GarageBand screen in the background. So yeah, we gives you a bit of an insight, and we sort of work on this track. And then what folks tend to do then is go away and work on their song. So hopefully gives you, like, every day or two, gives you just a little nugget of motivation to just watch something for a bit and then go and put some of the ideas or get your own creative juices flowing, which is cool. We'll see if we've got any final question. I know it's been a very different kind of show here, but I just wanted to take a little trip back in time and take a look back at some of these GarageBand projects, some of the techniques that I've used. Hopefully it's given you a few ideas and you've gone, oh yeah, GarageBand can do that, and GarageBand piano sounds pretty good, and GarageBand drums, when you separate them out, you can get some good sounds. So there's some amazing stuff you can do in GarageBand. Let's just see if we've got any other comments before we finish up. My mouse is completely... Oh, there it is. I'm having some weird wireless things going on because my mouse keeps cutting in and out. Maybe it needs a new battery. Probably does. Might mean that we have to finish the show soon, because if I can't mouse around... Wait, I've got my backup mouse here. Is that going to work over here? Oh, this is fun. Oh, it's working intermittently. All right, I might not be able to bring up as many comments, but we'll see how we go. Question, how did you get your singing voice so good? To be honest, practice. Practice. So practice makes progress. We don't say practice makes perfect around here, but practice definitely makes progress. And for me, and we want to look like... Nope. I'm trying to get rid of that. For me, it has just been continually trying and continually learning, listening back. The thing is, it's funny, I was singing along and I was playing some stuff and hanging out with my wife yesterday, and I was playing some of the songs I played on the Weekend Happy Hour, and I said, oh, look, I didn't think I'd be able to do this Earth, Wind and Fire song very well, but it turned out okay, and everyone said it was good, and I played it back to her, and she's like, oh yeah, you hit all the notes. I'm like, cool. But yeah, which is, again, for me, wasn't an easy thing to do. But again, because I've been doing a weekly live show where I'm learning a bunch of cover songs. Cover songs are great, by the way. I know a lot of people diss cover songs, but learning cover songs is a great way to learn different vocal techniques, because you're mimicking, in some ways, what some of the best vocalists of all time do. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're the best because they're the best and they know what they're doing. So sometimes singing covers can really help. Making your own music and just continuing to practice, just trying again and again. And the hardest thing, but the best thing, is listening to yourself. Hands up who loves the sound of their own voice. Nope, my hand goes immediately down. I used to hate listening to my own voice. But the only way to change your voice, the only way to improve your voice and get comfortable with your voice, is to keep listening to it. So I used to listen to my voice and I used to go, I hate how nasally I sound, and I hate how fast I talk and how high-pitched I am. Can I change a lot of those fundamental things? Not really, but there are some things I could change. So before I do a show now, and to this very day I do this, it doesn't always work, but I say slow and low. Why? Because my natural tendency is to talk like this, and I talk quite fast. And when I talk fast, my lisp seems to come out a little bit, and I also get a little bit more up into my nasal. So I start speaking with a higher pitched voice, and it doesn't sound good. But if I think before I speak slow and low, I can actually control the tone and the pace, and people from other countries can understand me. Because, they don't. Yeah, exactly. No, who doesn't? Who doesn't do it? I'm a magpie. Yeah, I'm not as much of a dick as a magpie, though. Magpies like to swoop me. I don't mind my singing voice as much as my talking voice. There you go. That's what bugs me. Exactly. And look, I have a problem with my talking voice. I have a problem with my singing voice too. But I say the word a lot. And I know other people. I think, Thomas, you were sharing something similar, that you had some challenges with and I have a challenge with ah. We all have our comfort words that we stop on when you're talking and having a think about things. But what you don't realize when you're talking is that silences that sound really long in your head, like the ones I'm deliberately putting into my speech now, don't actually sound unnatural. You can stop. You can pause. You can take a breath. The way that you're being heard by people is usually a lot faster than what's going on in your voice, because your mind works faster than your voice. So when you're talking, taking those natural breaks and learning how to do that actually gives you good voice control. Now, I know this is not related to singing, but it kind of is. because knowing when to pause, knowing when to break, knowing when to breathe are fundamental to singing. And you'll learn that through plenty of places on YouTube. Get a singing coach if you want to. There's plenty of folks out there that can help you learn voice control and learn to sing to your best. But please, just practice. Practice makes progress. Keep doing it, and you will get there. For instance, let's go back. Let's go back in time. I'm gonna play "Embarrass Pete." I'm going to play a song that I think is pretty cool. It's from my very first recording that I did back in 2017. It was from an EP I did called The Family EP. And I recorded on a Reaper, of all things. So it was before my GarageBand days even. And my voice then compared to what it is now, like this, I mean, we're only talking 5-ish years ago. But the practice that I've got since then of recording has helped. And if you take a listen to this song, compare it to like what we did, like Work in Progress that we listened to at the start, my voice is much stronger now because I have more confidence in it, because I'm singing like no one's listening. I'm delivering it with passion and with power because I don't give a crap. If I miss a note, guess what? I always say, if you miss a note, make sure you miss it spectacularly. Don't just narrowly avoid a note. Otherwise, you'll always sound slightly off pitch. If you are just giving it your all, yeah, sometimes you're going to fail dramatically. But guess what? You're in a digital environment with unlimited retries. So who cares? Do it again. Take 2, take 3, take 17. I don't care. Just keep doing it. All right, let's take a listen to this one. Just again, so that you can hear kind of what I was doing 5 years ago.
If this is a test, then where is my real world? And if this is a test, why does it feel so real? If this is a test, then where is my true life? And if this is a test, then when will my life begin? And I know it's not so easy to believe the things I see.
So what's wrong with that? Well, a few things. Look, it's fine. It was serviceable. I did an okay job. I'm pretty proud of that EP. However, there were a couple of problems there. I was in the wrong key, so I didn't understand about my own key that I should be in. That should have been around about 3 or 4 tones lower. I think it was in C major. Probably should have been down in something like A for me, or even sort of G major, which is what I do a lot of my stuff in now, because you could hear me going between my chest voice and my head voice in a kind of awkward way. You could also tell that I wasn't projecting. I was kind of singing like this, like I was a little scared, like I didn't want to be heard, and that always comes across in your voice. Whereas if you really deliver, you might sound a bit like a wank, but at least you'll get your voice out, and I've got no more rhymes. But you know what I mean. You don't have to go that over the top, but it's surprising how much further you do have to go. I talk about this with my wife too. It's like the Pete chats with his wife episode here today. But I chat with her about the fact that in musical theatre, if you ever watch musical theatre, I get a bit peed off that they're always so very animated. But if they were just kind of doing it and phoning it in, it just doesn't look right. It's the same with on stage performances. If you're just there plonking away, yeah, it's really easy to look bored, but it's really like you almost have to do it. A lot of people say you got to 10x your energy, man. If you're doing YouTube videos, you got to 10x your energy. I think it's more like 2x. I think the version of me that you've got here is about 2 times what I would be like if we were having a chat at the pub. Folks like Jade Starr can probably attest to that, because we've had a chat at the pub, and it's not that I'm completely different, but I'm certainly not the energy level, because you do have to project a certain amount of energy. The camera does take away a bit of that energy, and so does the microphone. It sucks your energy out, so you've got to pump more energy into the microphone and do your thing. Well, yeah, and look, that's the thing. I say all of that, and then sometimes you need a really sort of inside yourself vocal, and so for things like things change. So I did another song, which I've got to put my own name in there. I did another one called Things Have Changed. So if you listen to this performance, I'm happy with this. I think I did a good vocal performance on this one, but again, it's not me belting it out, but you can tell the difference between that first track we heard and this one is the level of confidence. So I'm singing, and I'm not like going, real nutso, because it's not the type of the song that it should be. But I think it sounds a lot better because, again, it's a few years later with a lot more practice. So take a listen to this one. Sorry, I should have skipped forward to the actual vocals. The old treadmill in the corner there with the blanket on it. Things aren't the same. Everything's changed. Even the sun doesn't feel so bright today. When will it... So that one's different. Again, I'm not like, it's not angry belting it out that I was talking about before, but I definitely wanted to get that kind of passionate commitment to it where you're going after the notes. You're not just sort of vaguely pointing in the direction of the notes. You're really going after them. And again, that's going to help some people. Everyone's different though. And that's why I say that practice is the best thing, to keep trying and to keep practicing and keep doing your thing. All right, we've gone off on weird tangents here, which is cool. Look, I am an overthinker too. So don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes you do overthink things, and I'm only saying all this because I know that a lot of people have the same challenges that I've had over time. So by me admitting it and pointing to these flaws, it's not to say, oh, I feel so bad about these things. It's to say, hey, you might be feeling this way too. Number one, as Sion said, it's not that big a deal, and number two, almost everything can be changed. Yeah, you know what? If you're playing tennis, are you ever going to be as good as Rafael Nadal? Probably not, because he's got a lot of natural talent and tens of thousands of hours of practice behind him. But are you going to be better than you were last year if you get out on the court every day? Of course you are. You're going to improve, and you can improve in most things in life and music. Alrighty. Yes, exactly. Diaphragmic breathing. So not... And when you get nervous, you breathe really shallowly, as Kiamra will know. That's why you hyperventilate, and that's why people get that dry mouth, and that's why people have real problems with stage fright, because you're breathing up here. If you actually learn how to breathe properly from your diaphragm, you have a lot more confidence, and you don't have those same issues. But again, it takes practice. G'day, Ben from West Virginia. Hello, anyway. If I haven't said g'day to you, I apologise. I know we went off on tangents today, and I got very preachy, so I apologise for that. Help warming up for sure. Warm up your vocal cords. Don't just go, bah, and just start running at them. That is going to do it for this show. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this show, but also across the whole weekend for those that have been here for the other shows we had, the happy hour, and of course Your Music Live. I now get myself a couple of days off to catch my breath and to rest my voice. But we got a whole bunch of stuff coming up in August. We got some mixing videos coming up. I'm going to be doing some mixing in BandLab, which will be cool, as well as some more short videos about BandLab. So if you're looking to get up and running and get started, you can do that. Do join the Discord. I highly recommend it, because I'll be doing a lot more over there as well and sharing more content on the Discord. We've also got the Facebook group as well. And don't forget GarageBand users Facebook group, which I'm representing here. You can actually pick up these t-shirts as well. There's links over on the GarageBand users Facebook group. Ron Ward designed these. And speaking of Ron Ward, speaking of Rock and Ronnie Ward, if you're watching live here, Ron should be up right now. Let's just make sure that Ron is doing his thing. Yes, he is. He's upcoming with his all live request editions. So if you don't want to, if it's not time for bed just yet, if you want a little bit more fun times, jump on over to Rockin' Ronnie Ward. We'll give him a like. We'll share this one. We'll throw this in the chat here. So go and, even if you can't hang around, go and say g'day, because Ron is a top bloke, as we'd say here in Australia. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you to Thomas and Jade and all the wonderful moderators here on the channel that help things run smoothly. And thank you to you. I hope you're excited about Songtember. I know it's still a month away, but it'll fly by. Trust me. Time is weird like that. It goes really fast sometimes. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And as we always say, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time on GarageBand Weekly. Let's go out with a little bit of Hold On. See you, folks.